All right. So, hello everyone, this is me, Harshal Jain, aka Viraj, and today we are going to start another new project. So, this project is a simple palindrome checker. So, some of you might not be knowing what is a palindrome. So, palindrome are simply those words which are readable in reverse order. I mean, the meaning doesn't change, the words are same in reverse order also. For example, dad. If you reverse dad, you'll get dad. Okay, so that's a simple palindrome example. You can actually get more palindrome examples if you search anywhere on Google. You'll definitely find that. Okay, let's check if ABA is a palindrome or not. So if I reverse ABA, it must be a palindrome. So I got ABA is a palindrome. So I am going to apply this logic in JavaScript, and this is a very simple project, and this is for, I can say, absolute beginners. So if you don't know much about JavaScript, if you know a few concepts or near to none concepts, you can simply watch this video. It will help you understand JavaScript a little bit better. Okay, it will help you grow your skills, make your skills better in JavaScript, because as a beginner, you must not jump directly to bigger projects, difficult projects. You can do these kind of simple projects. Okay, so this is a very simple project, and I have created a simple UI. You can see that, yeah, this is some uh, bluish green color, and a simple input container. If you check any word, it will return is it a palindrome or not. Okay, so let's check for something else. Is ABC a palindrome? Okay, so obviously it's not a palindrome, so it's not a palindrome. All right, so this is a simple example, and we are going to create this in this one video. All right, so before moving forward, just check out the description. In description, Geeks has provided a link. Okay, you can check that project building sessions coming up. Register to our full stack course for free. Okay, so this is basically our full stack bootcamp course, and it's a free course. If you click on that link, basically the link is provided after that, it will take you to this page. Okay, it will take you to this page. You can see that this is the page. Okay, so just start this course. If you haven't, just enroll and start this course. And once you start this course, you can see that it has everything for becoming a full stack developer. Okay, you can see that we have HTML, CSS, JavaScript basics, then React.js, then Node.js, and MongoDB, SQL, JavaScript YouTube series, Django, and lots of stuff. Okay, so you can find everything here, and this is text based articles. But if you want live sessions, you can go to this section. In the live section, you can see that on 21st January and 22nd January, that is this year, on 6 p.m. You can see that we have a session. So this will be a Zoom based live session, not on YouTube. It will be on Zoom. The links will be shared here. Right now it's written upcoming. Okay, the links will be shared here. So just enroll for this one and do watch this session. This is also for beginners. This is a session based on weather app using JavaScript and weather API. So you will know a better understanding of APIs, so that you can connect your own backend, create your own API from the backend, and you can use this similar logic. So this project will be really helpful. We'll be using a pre-built weather API available on internet, and that's some basic usage of API. All right, so you'll get a better understanding what is an API and so on. All right, so do watch these two sessions, but if somehow you can't watch them, then definitely you can check out the recordings. But live is recommended, but because you can ask all of your doubts at the same time. All right, so yeah, just enroll for this one, and now we can continue. So before moving forward, a lot of you ask me in the comments that Raj bhai, where is the source code? So you can find the source code. You can always find the source code in my GitHub profile. Okay, so this is my GitHub profile. You just have to search github.com/virajj014. Okay, so just go to my profile, github.com/virajj014. This is my GitHub profile, and I'll just share this in the live chat so you can check out this one, and then we can continue. All right, so this is my GitHub profile. Visit this one, and don't forget to follow me here. I follow back people. All right, you can see that I follow people more. So yeah, just follow me here, and you can see that in my repositories we have js underscore palindrome. So the full source code is available here. I also I can just also copy this one, and I can share this on live chat. Okay, so I've shared the repository link also, so you can visit this, and this is a public repository. You can view the source code. Okay, it's public, so you can see that the source code is uploaded here, and if you want the reference, you can take the reference from here. All right, so now we can continue, and I guess there are no more confusions with the basics. and this project requires a little knowledge of HTML and CSS. And if you know JavaScript, that's okay. If you don't know, then we will work somehow. Okay, so now we can continue, and I'll just close everything and I'll create a new file here. Okay, so first we'll create a new folder. You can create a new folder anywhere. All right, so I am actually writing all my JavaScript projects here, so I'll just create a new folder. And recently I upgraded to Windows 11, so sometimes it gets confusing to actually find things. Okay, so yeah, we got JS underscore, let's name it Palindrome. Okay, so Palindrome. So the new folder is created, and I hope I have written correct spelling of palindrome. Never mind. So I'll just open it with VS Code. So just open this with VS Code. So the basic requirement is VS Code. If you use VS Code, then you can follow this method. Alright, you can also use any other IDE if you want, but I always prefer VS Code because it runs everything. Okay, everything means everything. Programming, either web development, etc., etc. So it's really great to use. So you can always use VS Code, rely on VS Code. So first we'll create a file index.html. Okay, we'll create an HTML file. We can also create style.css where we'll keep all of our CSS part, and then we can also create our JavaScript, so script.js. Okay, so these three will be the files, and first will be the index.html. So let me tell you a simple shortcut. Just write exclamation mark and hit enter. You can see that we got our boilerplate. So this is a very simple trick, and it saves a lot of time. All right, so I'm going to write my CSS here only. Right now I'm going to write my CSS here, and then I'll shift that to style.css page. Okay, right now I'm writing my CSS here and JavaScript here. Okay, and later on I'll shift my CSS and JavaScript to the respective pages. All right, so yeah, this is a simple page, and let's test this one. I'll simply write a p tag and I'll write hey there. Okay, and let's test this. So for testing, I hope now the font is visible. So for testing, I'll just open it with live server. So live server is nothing but it's a simple extension. You can install it from here. Just type live server, and this is our live server extension. Just install this one, and then you're good to go. Once you install that live server extension, you'll see that go live icon here, or you can simply click here, open with live server. Okay, right click and click open with live server. So you can see that we got our hey there, and it's pretty small because it's a p tag, but you can see that we have a working page. All right, so let's do one thing. I'll first write the HTML part, then we'll jump to the CSS part, then the JavaScript part. Okay, this will be the simple flow. And before moving forward, let me check that is everything okay. So guys, just give me a confirmation on live chat. Is my voice okay, or should I do something else? Yeah, I guess everything is fine. All right. So before moving forward, let me just split the screen so that everyone can easily watch the code. Okay, so you can see that now we can see the live changes here. Okay, so let me just make it a little bit bigger. Okay, now I guess it's okay. So first we'll give it a heading of h1 tag. Okay, you can simply write an h1 tag, and you can also give it a class, then style it, but I'm just creating a h1 tag, and we'll style it directly because we are only going to have one h1 tag. Okay, palindrome checker. So yeah, palindrome checker, and now the spelling is, I guess, okay. Then we will create a simple p tag. Okay, simple p tag, which will tell us either it is a palindrome or not. Suppose we have a case, I have provided dad as a word. So obviously dad is a palindrome. So I can simply return dad is a palindrome. Okay, palindrome. So you can see that we got our p tag. Now we can do one more thing. I must give it an ID because we are going to manipulate the results every time the user enters a word. So I'll give it an ID named as result. Okay, we are going to manipulate this result with JavaScript. There might be a case where a word is not a palindrome, so I'll just change the inner HTML with this word is not a palindrome, and so on. All right, so this is a simple p tag. Then we are going to create an input. Input of what? we'll let the user to enter a word. So right now I'm just giving its type as text, okay, text based, and then we'll give it an ID. ID equals, I'll just write PL input, that means palindrome in short, PL input. So this will be our palindrome input, and when then we can give it a placeholder named as enter a word. Okay, so we'll get a placeholder, enter a word, and then we can close this. So you can see that we got our, let me just zoom this a little bit. You can see that we got our input. So after this we are going to create another button. So a button is required which will help us check. Okay, so I am going to write check. So this will be a check button. Once the user writes any word and presses checks, then this p tag will change. Okay, this p tag will change. That's the rule. Okay, so after this, let me just give it an ID. So suppose I'll just give it an ID. ID equals btn. I guess it won't be useful for this because I'm directly calling a function from here only. But let's write this. All right, so this was much for the HTML. You can see the HTML is pretty basic, and this project doesn't require much HTML and CSS. Okay, so now let's jump to CSS first, and you can see that we got some space in the top and left side. So that's because of the pre provided margin and padding. So we can just remove that by writing star. Okay, star M0 P0 M0 P0. Okay, so yeah, you can see that now the margin padding, pre-default default margin and padding are gone. Okay, so now we can continue with the code, the styling part, and we can simply write body. So I have picked a background color of somewhat this bluish green, but you can definitely choose another background. You can see that we got our background color. Okay, so I have targeted the whole body and I have given a background color. Then what? Then we can continue, and just a minute, guys. All right, some people have replied, yes, it's audible. Thanks for the confirmation. And guys, if I don't reply your comments, don't feel bad about it. I'll just check in a while. All right. So yeah, now I guess we can continue. Sometimes I feel that YouTube has some glitches. I'm not able to see the live chats in the lifetime. Okay, so yeah, there are some issues with YouTube. I guess I'm not able to see the live chat right now, but yeah, I guess it will refresh. All right, so let it be. We'll check that in a few minutes. Now we give it a background color of this, and then we want everything in center. So to bring anything in center, there's a simple rule in CSS. Okay, just remember this one. First of all, the outer container is what? Right now we have a body as outer container. Suppose you have a division. Okay, so the division is an outer container. But right now we have our body. We want everything inside this body to be in center. Okay, this body could have been a division also, but right now it's a body. So this technique will work for everything. So this is a simple technique to bring everything in center. First, you have to take the 100% of width. Okay, 100% of height. So 100% of height can't be taken directly. If you want the whole page, if you want the whole page, that won't be 100% height, that will be 100 vh. Okay, so it will actually take the whole page's height. All right, so yeah, we have taken the height and width. Now what? Now we want to bring anything in center. So for bringing anything in center, you can simply write display flex. Okay, this is a very simple trick, and you can see that we got display flex, but we want everything in column. You can see that right now they are in row. They are in row. So for bringing everything in column, we can simply again write flex direction column. All right. So this changes nothing, but this will actually convert that division into flex. Okay. So now the body will be a flex. Now we want everything to be in centers. We can simply write justify content center and align items center. That's it. Okay. So let's check. You can see that we got everything in center. So that's just a short trick which I use every time, and yeah, this will be very helpful in bigger projects. Like I have created projects for mobile, that means React Native. Okay, and for web development, that's React.js. So the concept is same. HTML, CSS, and JavaScript is same. Okay, just writing part is different, a little bit different, but the same logic can be applied in different technologies. So this trick will be useful in every technology you use. All right, so yeah, that's the trick which I wanted to show you. After this, I am assuming, by the way, that you are a beginner. That's why I'm telling you these tricks one by one. All right. So we can also give it a default font family. You can see that it's looking ugly. So for that, we can give it a font family. I'll just give it a font family of Sergio, Sergu. Okay. So this is a pre-built, I guess. Yeah, that's a pre-built inside HTML, and then we can continue with our further code. So now we are going to target our heading. Since we have only one h1 tag, I'm directly targeting the h1 tag. Okay, so yeah, h1 tag, and then we can give it a font size. You can give the font size in pixel or rem, doesn't matter. Rem is better because it changes with the UI part. Okay, so I'll just give it a background color of light gray. So I'll just change it to a little bit upwards. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I have given a lightish, light background color. That means a little bit gray. Okay, so I mean the text color is little bit gray, not background color. Then we can do one more thing. I'll just give it a font size. I have given this a font size of 3 rem. What I can do is I can write right now 1.5 rem. Okay, so right now I've just given a smaller size because we are viewing on a smaller screen. Or now we can continue. We can give it a font weight of, suppose it's right now it's bold, so we can, if we give it 500, you can see that it became a little bit light. Okay, so I guess it was 600 or 700, that's why it was more bold. Now it became a little bit thin. Okay, so font weight can be 500, and then we want everything to be in uppercase, so we'll give this uppercase. And then we can give it a letter spacing also, 1 pixel each. So you can see we got some letter spacing. And these are some simple tricks which I am showing you. You can use in your whole development journey. Okay, I'm sorry, I have given font weight. Alright, so you can change the font family for this particular H1 tag, but by default I have given this for all everywhere. Okay, so Sergio will be working for every tag. So yeah, after this we can continue with the input tag. So for styling the input tag, I am assuming that we want to give this input tag a width of 300, suppose width of 300 pixels. Then what can we do? We can give it a height of 50 pixels. Yeah, that will work. And then we can give it a border of none. I don't want any border right now, so I can just simply write border none. And now we'll remove the outline is nothing, but if you select this you can get an outline. So this is a very common issue with the beginners, so you can simply remove this by typing outline as none. So if you select this, you can remove the outline. Okay, so that's a very short trick. Then we can give it a border radius of 5 pixel. Yeah, 5 pixel will work. And then padding inside can be from top and bottom, it will be 0 pixel, from left right it will be 10 pixel. All right. Then we can also give it a font size of, suppose, 1.2 rem. All right. I guess we have also zoomed it. Okay, now it's looking fine. And now we can again shift this. That's what I was wondering, that why it's too much zoom. Now it's fine. And then we can see that we have given a font size. We can also give it a margin top. So margin top can be, I'll just specify that. I'll just specify margin top. So I only want margin top. I can write margin top, and margin top can be 10 pixel. Okay. So we got some margin top for this input container. Then what can we do? We can also target this button. We can target this button, and this button we can give it some width. Alright, so again we want the button to be of width 300 pixels. So I can simply write 300 pixels. That's it, and we can give it a height of 50 pixels. That's it. Then we can give it a border of none. The border is gone. What else can we do? We can give it a border radius of 5 pixel. You can see that we got a little bit curved. And then we can give it a padding of 0 from top and bottom, 10 pixel from, yeah, that won't work. That's not required because we have given the width and height. So padding won't be required. Then what can we do? We can give it a font size also. So font size, if I try to give it 1.2 rem, yeah, that's it. Also, we can give it a margin top of, suppose I'll give it 10 pixel right now. So yeah, we got a margin. We can give it a background color of, suppose I'm just giving it a grayish background. So 323232. Okay, so this is a grayish background, and then we can give it a border radius of 5 pixel. Okay, 5 pixel. So yeah, we got a border radius. We can give it a color of white. So that's the button which we wanted. And if I hover over this button, I simply want the cursor to be pointer. Or if you target this button again, button, and we will make some changes in the hover. So I want my background color to be white when I hover, white or something else. You can choose something else, but right now I'm just choosing white. You can see that we got white, and color can be this grayish. Okay, so I have reverted the colors, and I also want one more thing. I want cursor to be pointer. So now you can see that we have a button. So this was the basic part, and we also want the result to be targeted. So the result is this id. The result is this id, so I'm going to target this id hashtag result. And now after this, we can do one thing. We can give it a background color of white. Background color can be white. All right, width can be again 300 pixel. 300 pixel. All right. uh, Also, we want a border radius to be, suppose, 20 pixels. 20 pixels. You can see that we got a curved border. Then we can give it a padding of 10 pixels from each side, top, bottom, left, and right. Text align center to bring everything in center. We got everything in center. Font size can be, suppose 1.2 rem. Okay, so we gave it up a font size, and margin top can be 20 pixel, and then we want initially display to be none. Okay, initial display to be none. Display as none. Initially we don't want to see that. First we'll type the word, then we'll check. Okay, that's what my main logic is. So that's it for the basic UI part. Now we'll jump to the JavaScript part. So for JavaScript, first we need to get this text, whatever text have I written. So if I have written dad, so I want my dad to be printed in JavaScript first. So for that we can simply create a function. We'll simply create a function here, and we'll name it as check, Palindrome. Okay, so this function will be called when we will click this button. Okay, so I can simply write on click equals, and in brackets we can simply call that function check Palindrome. Okay, so this function will be called inside this button. So let's check if it's working or not. So I can simply print console.log clicked, and let's check if I inspect this, and in console, if I click check, you can see we got clicked. Okay, so the UI is working fine. The button has been clicked. Now what to do? Now we want, if I have written that, I want that to be printed here. So how can we get that? Simple logic. We have to target this input. So I have provided this id, so we'll target that input by this id. Okay, so you can also declare your variables outside this function if you have any more functionality, but right now I'm just declaring it inside. So we can simply write let pl input. Okay, let pl input equals document.get element by id, because we have provided the id to the input. Okay, you could have also get it the same element by class name also, query selector, etc. All right, so we can simply provide the id name. We want to target this input, so this input has an id, pl input, so we can simply write PLINPUT. Okay, and we want the value of this input, whatever the value is. Okay, so to get the value we can simply write dot value. So if I have written dad, this will simply get dad. Okay, this will simply get the string dad, so I can simply write dot value. Okay, so we got the value. So let's print that console.log pl input. Okay, now let's check this one. So for checking, if I write something like ABC, and if I click check, you can see that we got ABC. Okay, that's it, that's what we wanted. Now I want the reverse. By reverse, I mean that let's understand the logic of palindrome. Suppose I have provided DAD. Okay, so the reverse of dad must be equal to dad. That's it. So the reverse is also dad. Okay, so it will work. Suppose I have provided ABC. So now its reverse is CBA, but both of them are not equal. So that's what the logic. We have the input, now we are going to reverse it, then we are going to compare both of them. You can see that on comparing they are not same. That means ABC is not a palindrome. That's the simple logic. Okay, so that's going to be applied today. And for testing that, let me just call this result also, so to display the result. So for that I can simply write let result equals, and I have provided ID as result. You can see that it has an ID as result, so I have targeted that element. Okay, so the result variable will store that element, this element. All right, but this PL input will store the value of this input because I have written dot value. That's it. All right, so yeah, I have targeted the result. Now we want the reverse of this PL input. So for getting the reverse of this PL input, we can simply write let. This is a simple trick in JavaScript. Let reverse equals PL input. First you want PL inputs reverse, so we want to split the PL input in an array. So we can simply write split, and let's print this first. So if I print console.log reverse, so if I am printing reverse, okay, if I'm printing reverse, then let's check what happens. So if I have written, suppose I have written ABC. Okay, let's check. So you can see that we got an array which has all the alphabets separated. You can see that we got an array with all the alphabet separated. Suppose I have written a long word. Okay, suppose I have written this much long word. You can see that the array will become long. Okay, so it can change its shape. Okay, you can see that we got a long array. Now we want to reverse this array and then merge the word again. Okay, merge the alphabets to the word again. So for that we can simply apply here. We can simply write dot reverse. Okay, so this will simply reverse the array. Okay, this will simply reverse the array. So now let's check that again. So if I write A B C and if I click check, you can see that we got a reversed array. So that is the simple logic to reverse this array. Okay, so now the array is reversed. Now we want to merge all the array elements in one word. Okay, so we can simply write dot join. Now why have I written these empty inverted commas? This simply means join from the empty spaces. So we can see that every word, every alphabet has empty spaces. Okay, that means no empty space. All right, so that's how the array will be joined. You can see that now the reverse array is joined. Now if I test this A B C, okay, it must return CBA. You can see that we got the reverse joined array. Okay, so it's the reverse joined array. So let's now compare this. Now let's compare this console.log PL input and reverse. Okay, so PL input is ABC and reverse can be CBA. Okay, so let's test. If I have written ABC, it must return what? It must return CBA. You can see that we got CBA. If I have written something like uh, GFG. You can see that GFG is a palindrome. GFG is a palindrome, by the way. Yeah, GFG is a palindrome. You can see that we have GFG, reverse is also GFG. Okay, so that's how we'll compare. Now we are going to compare these. How can we compare these? We can simply say if PL input is equal to reverse, then it's a palindrome. If PL input is not equal to reverse, then it's not a palindrome. That's the logic. So for that, first of all, let's say if PL input is empty. PL input is empty. That means the user hasn't written anything and pressed check button. Then simply return this alert. You can also return something else, but I can simply write alert, please enter a word. That's it. So if I click on check directly, you can see that we got an alert, please enter a word. But if I have written suppose A, you can see that we didn't get that alert. So if it's empty, then it will always return that alert, and that's really useful. And you can use the same logic whenever you give a form input. Okay, you can see that I have given input. Suppose I'm building a form and I want user details. If any user detail is empty, you can simply say that if this user detail is empty, you can simply give an alert. That's what I have given. Okay, I have targeted that element, I have targeted that particular input, and I have given that if its value is empty, then return please enter a word. Okay, so you can use this logic in your further projects also. So after this, Tech by RR, Spring Boot versus Mun, which is better, sir? That's totally dependent on your project. Personally, I am a Munstack developer and I find that uh, more relatable to all of the stacks which I follow. Suppose you are right now you are learning HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Okay, so the most easiest thing to do after this is Munstack. Okay, the most easiest thing. Trust me, this is the most easiest thing. How is the easiest thing? Suppose you have learned HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, then JavaScript, using JavaScript, HTML and CSS, you can learn React.js. Okay, so if you have learned React.js, then for backend, you can similarly use Node.js. Node.js also contains JavaScript, React.js also contains JavaScript. Okay, so you can see that JavaScript is used everywhere. So I prefer Monstack development for a web developer career, but definitely it's up to your requirement that suppose some people use Ruby, some people use other technologies, so that's totally up to you. Everything is great. Okay, you can see that website will look same only. Okay, the technology is different but website will look same only. Yeah, there might be some difference between the response times. Okay, but that doesn't matter much, nobody cares that much. But yeah, you can go with merge stack if you want to play safe. Okay, because it's same. You can see that HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, then you can learn merge stack development, then you can learn React Native for mobile development, mobile app development. That's pretty simple, and JavaScript can be used everywhere. So that's up to you. If you want to learn Spring Boot, you can go for it. If you want to learn merge stack, go for it, but I prefer merge stack. That's it. So yeah, if you have any more doubts like this one, you can definitely share that. I love to clear all of your doubts. And you can also give me project suggestions in JavaScript, because I know a lot of projects are done by me, which are difficult for beginners. You can say that it's not for beginners, but these projects are for beginners. So you can suggest me some more beginner friendly projects which I can create for you guys. All right. So my goal is to fill the internet, fill the YouTube with these projects. So yeah, you can share me your projects, ideas, and I can build that for you. So yeah, after this we have simply checked that if it's empty, please enter a word. Now what to do? Now we are going to compare them. We are going to compare them. We are going to compare what? Have I written the same? Have I written the palindrome or not? Suppose I have written ABC. I'll compare the reverse with it. ABC has a reverse CBA. Okay, the reverse is CBA. So is ABC equal to CBA? Obviously not. So it's not a palindrome. So that's the logic. So we'll simply write else if. Now if this input container is not empty, then we can work. So that's what this says, that if it's not empty, then we'll jump to this else if case. So else if we can say that if pl input is equal to reverse, then it's a palindrome. So we can alert palindrome, or let's write it in a better way. It's a palindrome. And if it's not a palindrome, then it will jump to the else case and it will simply return us it's not a palindrome. Okay, so now let's check, and at the same time I'm also going to print this. Okay, console.log, I'm going to print what? This pl input and reverse. Console.log pl input and reverse. Okay, similarly I'll print that here too. Okay, so now let's test this. Suppose I have written a b c. So guess it's what? It's not a palindrome. So now let's check. So it's saying it's not a palindrome. Okay, and we got the result that it's not a palindrome. So yeah, now let's test for a palindrome. Suppose I have written gfg. Okay, so what's gfg? Gfg is a palindrome. So you can see that it's a palindrome. Okay, we got an alert, it's a palindrome. So now it's working fine, it's working fine. So after getting an alert, I want to show this p. I want to show this p tag. Okay, you can see that here we have given it a display as none. So if I just remove this, you can see that we got our p tag. But let's initialize it, display as none, and let me just remove this because initially there won't be any case. Okay, so you can see that initially we won't be getting the p tag, but Once we get our result, either for a palindrome or either not a palindrome, we want to show the p tag and we want to say that this word is not a palindrome. So for that we can simply say that first you must have targeted that result. Okay, this is the result. Okay, id, it has the result id. So you can see that we have targeted this here, we have targeted this here by id result. And then we can say if it's a palindrome, if it's a palindrome, then you can say that first of all make it visible. Result dot style dot display. Okay, sorry, style dot display equals block. So now let's test. So if I have written ABC and if I check, okay, so let's test for palindrome first. If I check, then you can see that we got our p tag, because we haven't provided anything and nothing is written here right now. So we aren't getting inside that p tag. So let's write the inner HTML of that p tag now. So I'll just do the same for this one also. I'll just do the same for this one also. And now if I just write any word, suppose I have written AB, and if I check, it's not a palindrome, but definitely you'll get the p tag here. Okay, you can see that we got this white container. So now we are going to write the inner HTML for this p tag. So that's really simple. You just have to write result dot, you have targeted the that container as result, and we will simply write dot inner HTML is what you can result you can write it as, first write the backticks. Backticks are those present below the escape key in your keyboard. Okay, so backticks are is that button. So you can simply write this backtick sign and one for closing. Then you can return that word. You can return that word. The word is obviously in PL input. Okay, the value is present inside PL input. So I'm going to say that is a palindrome. ABC is not a palindrome. That's how. So I have written here the PL input. That means it will return the value dad. Okay, and since this is a case for palindrome, okay, this is a case for palindrome, so I'll simply write is a palindrome and just copy this and paste it here. Is not a palindrome. So what we have done, we can simply say that we have made the result visible. We have simply made this p tag visible. Okay, initialized with display none, but we have made its display as block when we get a result, and we have simply gave the inner HTML as the word name, particular word name. Then we have written is not a palindrome, is a palindrome. Okay, so now let's test. So it's of no use to show this alert now. So now let's test. So if I have written some words, suppose I have written ABC, let's check. You can see that we got ABC is not a palindrome. Suppose I have written DAD, dad, dad is a palindrome. Okay, so that's it. Simple project for palindrome. But here is one case. Okay, here is one case. Suppose I don't know, people will consider this or not. Okay, I have searched internet. Some people consider capital letters, but some people don't. Okay, suppose you have written dad, then dad is not a palindrome because D is capital by logic. Okay, so the reverse won't be same. But if you want, if you don't carry, if you don't, I can say if you don't carry any capital letters. Okay, if you don't carry any capital letters, you can say that this is working fine for this case. So my logic says is, let's print this and I can simply print both of them. Okay, I can simply print. So let's test this again for this one also. Let's test this. So I can say that if I type DAD, and you can see that DAD is same as DAD, but D is capital in different positions. Okay, so if you ignore this, you can say, yeah, that I don't worry about this capital D. So capital DAD can also be a palindrome. Capital DAD can also be a palindrome. This is just an assumption. Okay, I don't know this is correct or not, because some people will say that capital DAD is not a palindrome. Some people will say capital DAD is a palindrome. So that's perception of different logics, different websites. So if you want that logic, if you will consider both of them as same, if you want to consider both of them as same, so the simplest way is to do something like uh, writing them in all of the words, all of the letters in uppercase or lowercase. Okay, so what can we do is we can say that if lowercase of this is equal to lowercase of this, that means suppose I have provided capital DAD, capital DAD, and the reverse is obviously DAD. So what I'm trying to say is lowercase of this is small d small a small d, and lowercase of this is small d small a small d. Both of them are equal. Okay, so if you want to consider this case as equal, you can simply write dot to lower case. Okay, and similarly you can write here dot to lowercase and these brackets. That's it. So now this case will also be a palindrome. So that's an assumption. If you don't want this case, you can remove this case definitely. I have shown you both the options. Okay, this is the second option. That is, you can consider these kind of words also same. That means as a palindrome. So now let's check again. So if I have written, suppose I have written capital D A D, check. So now you can see that that is a palindrome because in lowercase DAD is equal to DAD. Okay, so that's why that is a palindrome. So this logic can be changed. If you don't want this lowercase logic, you can remove this. Okay, that's up to you. So I hope you understood this project, and that's a very simple project, but that's a really helpful project for beginners. You can see that we got the real time changes also. Whenever you write something here, if you write, suppose I have written ABC, then you can see that ABC is not a palindrome. So these kind of cases will be working. All right. So if I have removed everything and if I click on check, you can see that please enter a word. So our logic is working pretty fine. And I have uploaded this source code where I have uploaded this. What is the difference between double equals and triple equals? The simple difference between double equals and triple equals is that suppose we have an integer 2 and we have a string 2. Okay, both of them are 2, but you can see that the type is different. One is an integer and one is a string. All right, so if you have double equal to sign between them, then they are equal, but if you have triple equal to sign, then it also checks for the type. Okay, so the string is not equal to integers, both of them are still 2, but if it has triple equal to, then this case will return false. All right, so that's the simple difference between double equals and triple equals. Sir, I had used to compare the prices of e-commerce product from different sites, but the problem is I got JSON format data from API, so I should convert it to HTML website through JavaScript. But the problem is I got the JSON format data from APIs, so I should convert it. I guess it's not a problem because you can convert directly the JSON format. You can use the JSON format directly through your HTML page. But please specify more. Sir, I had compared price. I'm actually not getting what exactly do you want because it's pretty pretty basic. You can simply provide the JSON formatted data in I can say that from API you'll always get a JSON format data. I'm talking about terms of JavaScript. You'll always get a JSON format data, and you can simply provide that to the HTML. In this way, you can say that in this project you can see that we have provided the inner HTML, so you can change your inner HTML this way. So if you want to apply this logic, you can. And if you want to specify more about this project, that will be really better. Okay, so you can specify more about this project, and I can wait for a few minutes, so you can message me here. All right, so I wanted to tell you one more thing. I wanted to tell you one more thing. So before ending this session, you can see that this is my GitHub profile. So if you want the source code, you can visit my GitHub profile, github.com/virajj014. I have shared the GitHub profile link on the live chat also. So you can visit my GitHub profile, and in my profile, you can simply go to repositories. In repositories, you will get JS_palindrome. So the source code is available here. And by the way, I haven't shifted the things here, so I'll just shift them, and then we are good to go. So I'll shift the CSS to the CSS file, just copy the CSS part, and then you can paste it, and I must remove the style tag from here and style tag from there. And similarly what can we do? We can simply change the JavaScript part. So just cut this part and Okay, I left that. When is another project coming up? The next project is actually a nav toggler. If you want to build a website with a responsive nav bar, you can see that some websites have a responsive nav bar. If I give an example that Geeks4Geeks has a responsive nav bar, you can see that if you view the website on a web view, you can say that we got all the contents. But if you view the same website on mobile, you can see that we got a small hamburger in the nav bar. So that project will be shown in the next video. I have actually scheduled this project so you guys will find it easier to understand. And let me just shift this script and then I can explain what can be done in next project. Okay, so I have shifted the JavaScript. Then you can simply import your JavaScript. So for that I can write src equals what? Um, Simply provide the path. Okay, the path is script.js, and similarly remove this tile and all right, simply remove this style and I can simply provide it in the link tag link and style sheet and style.css. So just import the style.css and now let's check if it's working or not. You can see that the project is working. If I can write ABA, you can say check. Yeah, it's working fine. All right, so that's it for this project. You can find the repository here, and this is my project. JS underscore palindrome. If you don't find this repository, you can simply search it here, JS underscore PALIN. All right, so all of my projects are available here. You can find all of them. So use this project as for beginners, and you can also use these concepts in your advanced projects because some of the basic concepts will always work for your advanced projects. Okay, so this project will be really helpful if you want to excel in stack development career, or if you want to learn JavaScript, you can use this project for a reference. All right, so this is the project. I have shared the link. Sir, help me to convert from JSON format to HTML data. So there's a method in Java. I have done this. There is a method in JavaScript. First method is what? First method is this one. I have changed the inner HTML this way. So I guess you are getting JSON formatted data in JavaScript. Okay. So first of all, you're calling the API in JavaScript and you are getting the JSON formatted data in JavaScript. So that's the basic thing. All right. So after that, you can target that particular HTML element like this which you want to change. You can see that I have targeted this result. This is what my p tag, and I've changed the inner HTML. So you can simply shift your JavaScript JSON formatted data like this. Okay, so suppose, for example, let me just give it an example. So just watch this one. Okay, so just watch this one. I can simply say that if data is, suppose data, okay, data is this, and data is, suppose the name is John and age is 30. JSON formatted data is something like this, I guess. And suppose this is an array. This is an array. Okay, this is an array. Guys, just a minute. Okay, now we can continue. So now you can see that we have name equals John, age equals 30. I'm just clearing your doubts. So this is my JSON formatted data. Suppose we have another object. Suppose we have another object. Name is Sarah, age is 22. So how you can access these? How can you access these? Suppose if you want to change inner HTML of something. So you can simply get John by what? You can simply say data. If you want John, that's available in zeroth index. That's available in zeroth index. So we have targeted the zeroth object. Okay, then when we can simply write dot name. So we'll get John. Okay, so you can just replace this with your inner HTML, So instead of this, you can simply write this. Okay, so that's for your doubt. Okay, it's not for this project. You can simply change your inner HTML like this. Okay, So that's the basic logic which you can use for your JSON transferring to HTML. But still, if you have doubts with this, you can watch my other projects, or you can contact me personally, where you can contact me personally on Instagram. Also, thanks for mentioning this doubt, because the next project, that is using the same concept of APIs. Let me just show you which project. In the description, you might find a link. The link is after the text. Project building sessions coming up. Register to our full stack bootcamp course for free. So just visit that link. It will take you to this page. It will take you to this page. Just register this page, and I might have logged out. All right. I guess now, yeah. So you can start this course, enroll this course, and this is a free full stack bootcamp course. Just visit this one, and you can see that here we have everything for a full stack development career. So you can check all of them. They are free. And in the live section, you can see that on 21st and 22nd January, we have this project named as Weather App using JavaScript and Weather API. So this guy mentioned that he has some doubt in JSON format. So this project will be solely focused on that only. We'll bring JSON formatted data from API, and we'll show that on our HTML page. So don't miss this project. This is a really great project, and it will be using APIs, and will actually connect everything: HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and external API, Weather API. So after this, you can actually jump to your backend part. You can create your own API from backend, and then you can merge it for your JavaScript, HTML, CSS. Okay, so don't miss this project. It will be on 21st and 22nd. It will be a Zoom based live meeting. The links will be available here. Also, if you aren't able to watch these sessions somehow, you can check the live recordings. All right, so that's it. These please enroll this one. This is a very great course, and I will be obviously taking this session. All right, so that's it for this video. If you have any doubts, you can contact me on Instagram, or you can comment below. All right, so don't forget to subscribe to this channel, Geeks for Geeks Development, and more projects will be upcoming here. So see you in the next one. Till then, bye bye.